Hi guys, I'm going to do a test. So this is just a test video. This is just a test video of this computer right here that you can't see. So I'm just going to be talking about a random topic to see how this computer holds up. So basically, I'm just going to explain some stuff I'm talking about. So basically, um, um, I got this machine for from Sweetwater. So Sweetwater provided it. Um, if I were to have to buy this again, I mean, if I were to have to buy this, I would have bought seven, well, extra because if I had to buy this, I would have bought seven, one for the main cluster and six for an extra for like for the six cluster nodes. This is basically for this specific computer. I would have. It's a dual core i5, 10th gen. 8 gigs RAM. It's upgradable. You can install a SATA SSD, and I basically, since this is an i7, since this is an i5, if I say i7, I would say i5. This is an i5. That's a dual core, and it works perfectly fine for actually OBS. Right now OBS is only using 32%. This, if you look so far, right here, I'm just showing my hand. There is a little bit of latency, but that's probably because of the actual camera is autofocusing. But that's really, I don't really care at the moment for autofocus. But basically, what's running on this machine is basically just OBS, my MIDI mix software, my drawing software, Photoshop, let's see, what's that software called? FileBot, downloader software, my video editing software, and some other links, and the transcript deck software. And also what was on here was a music software. Was a music server. I'm running what's that software called? Cubase is a software I'm using on here. I tried Advid. It doesn't run Advid that well. It runs it fine, but basically, if you're basically need to add more samples, go with the quad core i7. If you need to add more samples than like 200 than the i7. If you want to add more samples on this one, it can do 200, and I recommend getting at least 16 gigs RAM. But this basically has 8, which works perfectly fine. I'm not gaming on this, so basically it's just being used as a creative machine. I needed something quiet. This laptop basically worked. It's a i7 11th gen, 16 gigs of DDR4, 2 terabytes of SSD storage, 3060 max Q. It has RGB. Don't use it, but it's also thin. 3 USB 3s and 1 Thunderbolt, 1 HDMI, and 1 USB-C to Gen C 3.2 Gen 2 Type C. And it works. What was running on there was this drawing tablet, this monitor, these speakers, the audio interface, and these 2 stream decks, USB hub, with basically the keyboard, the 2 stream decks, because the 7-port USB hub. Let's see that. The audio interface, my what's that thing called? Hard drive docking station, and my what's that thing called? The Korg Nano Control 2, and my 2 webcams, and my capture card are running on there. So was that running on there? Worked perfectly fine. It just got pretty loud when like doing OBS stuff and also some other rendering. So, and it had pretty much the same exact software on here. So, but this machine was originally a server, and so I'm gonna say actually this be actually for anything. So how I got this running OBS with minimal lag was basically I basically instead of me putting it on to 1080p or 4K, I didn't want to basically stress the extra CPU and involve laggy. This is as much laggy as you can get. This machine would actually cost right now. It costs around $249. That's pretty good with all the DAW related software on there. So um um so basically and just running so this is right now not high quality. It's still it's not full HD. It's just HD. And how I have my settings set up is under advanced. I have it set to automatically remux to MP4 so I can import into editing software. Haven't messed with hotkeys yet because I haven't actually, because I was just testing to see if it could do rich recording and how much scenes it can handle. I usually only use like 4 scenes. I'm thinking um this camera you're seeing right now, the camera below it, the screen recording, and then a picture. Well, it would be this cam, the cam you see below, which I haven't gonna show you yet, and then one that I'm going to set up, which is picture in picture, where see this camera right here and that camera that you can see actually there. Barely, it's gonna be that one right there. And so with this camera, it will look like that. So I can open stuff and still see my face. And then I have one for the screen that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to have one for one that I can switch between the drawing tablet and the main screen. Mainly, it would basically be when I want to draw, I can basically screen actually cap here with like OBS, and then put OBS on this screen like how I have it now, and then run. And when I want to record this screen right here, have OBS down here, and because that's with 2 monitors. So if you had 3, you could have OBS on one of them, drawing around here, screen down here, drawing here, and screen there if you wanted to. And these are running at 1080p. Because these cameras are at 1280 by 720. This is what this camera looks like. So there is a little bit of latency on this one, but that's because of it literally is I'm not pushing it to its limits, but it's at 41%, and it's with background software running, which is the Stream Deck software, the drawing tablet software, and then the MIDI mix software. And this is with the when Windows literally kind of loaded down. I mean, like with the thought of bloatware removed, everything just bare minimum when Windows. Only extra software that I have that always runs is that runs at boot is this software, which is my start bar software, and then what's also on boot is whatchamacallit, is my cursor highlighter button, and I had set up to program the the Corgano control to basically, I guess, set it back up how I had it set up on my laptop. So because this is basically just a machine I'm basically using as a replacement of the laptop that's quieter, and it's smaller than most desktop PCs, and it basically can do recording I want to do, and also the can capture, because the capture card I'm using is literally right here. It's a Roland capture card. How that's hooked up is the USB is going to this computer. The HDMI is going around the monitor over to my rack, which is going to it's going into the output port of my actual HDMI switch, and then the input ports are going. I mean, the input ports are basically, there's 3 input ports that are being filled up. The first input port is for this cable right here, which is a HDMI to USB Type C. So I can basically connect my phone, which has USB C, and it has HML or the display over HDMI. Then this is for my iPad, and then I'm gonna have another one that I have to get a really long cable now. So basically, when I want to screen capture my actual computer over here, that's here now, I can basically just run a cable from the HDMI, do screen mirroring, and then just run that to my capture card, to my HDMI capture card, and I mean to my HDMI splitter, and from the HDMI splitter, it goes to my capture card, and then there's another port on there which is for another cable that goes to my Spitfire Pro, which is the HDMI splitter, not switch. So the HDMI splitter is basically goes one goes into the splitter, the other end goes to the TV that is up here, and so basically it goes from here to also to the Spitfire Pro, and that goes from actually the other end goes to the capture card that's over here. I mean to the HDMI switch that goes to the capture card that's over here. And then from the main end of the HDMI splitter, then goes to my switch dock that's over here. And so when I dock my switch, it would appear on the capture card, and it'll appear in OBS. But the problem is there's a 50 millisecond input latency. I mean, I think it's not even 50, I think it's like 3 milliseconds actually. It's not much, but basically there's latency, so you can't play it on the OBS screen. Well, like action, like games that involve precise movements, you actually can't play without having to adjust your actual gameplay. So you when like we're recording on here in the OBS, you want to basically have another screen output. So like most capture cards have a display output. So basically, you can actually it's a display pass through. So you can basically pass through the image to the display through actually the capture card. There isn't latency there, but so how I have it is I have the switch connected to the switch dock connected to the to the HDMI splitter, which then goes to actually the splitter, and the switch and the TV, and from the TV I can play on TV, and from actual record on OBS at the same exact time. Versus if it has pass through, your computer has to be beyond, or the USB has to be providing power. With this way, the actual display doesn't, the switch gets, you can still play the switch on the TV or other monitor without the need of having a computer on. So you can just dock it, go to the computer and start recording, or if you're done recording, or you don't want to basically just show actually that, you can always just stop recording OBS. But so how I have it is basically, if I want to record the HDMI onto the switch, I basically just hit the one switch button right here, which is for the switch dock, and the other button which is for the the first Spitfire Pro HDMI splitter, and then I also have to have on the HDMI switch because normally when just recording, I just have to have the HDMI switch on, and also the and that's it, and also the power cable and the monitor here, and the USB hub which powers this monitor here for obvious reasons. And so to fix that, I just fix that I made it so not all these have to be on at the same exact time. And what I'm planning on doing in a few weeks or so, I'm planning on taking how they're plugged in right now is the cables going from here over there to the power plug over there. I'm planning on taking a actual power plug, I mean a UPS, and plugging it in over under the desk over here, and run the single cable from each PDU to like the port, because all a PDU is just a power distribution. It's not a power strip that does surge protection. It's just a power. It's just a power. Basically, it's almost like a PDU is just a power splitter. So that's all it is. So you're basically just splitting power from the outlets to a single port. You just have to make sure you don't over capacity the actual input. So basically, if I'm plugging this stuff into one port on UPS, you just have to make sure it's a 13 VA or higher UPS. So it's most 13,300 VA UPS or a 15,000 VA UPS, which is 900 watts. This is less than 900 watts. This basically capacity is of these PDUs is over 2,000 VVA, which is around 1,800 watts if I'm doing rough napkin math, if I recall correctly. So basically, and all this stuff doesn't draw that much. So basically, monitor, not much. Speakers, about 100 watts each. This what's going to be plugged into the power cable. What's plugged in right now is about 200 watts. This laptop. Next to it is the amplifier, which is about 50 watts. The DBX86S, 50 watts. The switch dock, like 10 watts. And this is just rough like knowing what the basic spec is. The HDMI splitter, 3 watts. Well, it's 3 watts at 12 volts. The HDMI switch is 5 watts. The TV is like 80 watts because it's one right there. It's not that one right here. It's literally that same exact TV you see behind me, but one on the wall. Let's see, the USB hub, that one's 60 watts because of it can do actually charging, but it's a 7-port with three charging ports. The next to that is my Apple TV port, which is basically just there to keep my Apple TV powered because I could always plug it over there where my what's that thing called? My Echo is plugged in at, and I actually have I would plug it there, but there's the HDMI switches right here, and I don't feel like running another Ethernet cable all the way over there. And so basically, next to that is my charging cable for my iPad, which is right here, or I can also charge my Apple Pencil, my whatchamacallit, my Apple TV remote, oopsies. Oh well. I just opened up a web browser by accident because I pressed the switch button because I pressed the same deck button. But basically, the Apple TV remote, I wanted to get an actual iPad, an M1, just so I could have more consistent version, so I can basically just do some Apple programming with basically Xcode. There might be a way of doing it on Windows. Haven't really looked into it that much. The next that is my HHD, my hard disk drive, which is the docking station. I can just plug a hard drive into here, and then press on the switch, it turns on. I can eject it and turn it off. Then next to that is an empty port that I usually use for plugging in random stuff when I'm just doing some actual testing, and if it needs to basically move, or it usually just empty, just so I can keep a port open just for something. And then I have next to that is my phone charger, so I can basically just put my phone onto a wireless charger and charge it. And then next to that is an empty port. I can't use it because of the charger is literally in the way, because how the charger comes out, instead of how most chargers come out where the cable comes out straight up, it comes out at angles. So basically, the port over here is pretty much useless, and unless I literally get a right angle USB A to Type C cable and then run that there, which would probably work out, and I could actually then use that port. But right there next to port that, which is port 8, is empty, and port 9, which is my HDMI, which is my network switch, that's always on, because if that's not on, the network switch isn't on, then basically that router you see up there, the deco does not turn, is not getting internet, and then the echo right there isn't on and not getting internet. Neither is this computer wouldn't be getting internet, and neither now this computer wouldn't be actually getting internet. There was a cable that goes from actually there to the switch, but I unplugged it because I didn't need um because I didn't need it, because how it is, because when I press the button over here, it just turns on to HDMI port 1, which is what the switch is on, and when I dock it, it just docks. And so I can probably just leave the switch dock on, slot on, but and cover with tape, but whatever. And so the other one over there, the other TV over there, is controlled with the echo. So when I say turn on TV, it just turn on the A words, ALEXA. Not gonna say it because it will activate other people's TVs, so, or devices. So turn on TV, which would turn on that smart plug, which is basically hooked up to a 3-way splitter that turns on the TV, my soundbar, and subwoofer down over there. Well, over here. And then when I turn on, and since the Apple TV is always on, all I have to do is wake the actual Apple TV, and it just works. And I had it CMC controlled, but this TV would also turn on too. So I just basically turned that off, controlled it with a smart plug, and I found out that it can be controlled with a smart plug because when I basically was turning on this TV over here with like a smart plug, it just turned back on when it restored power. And then the other thing over there, the other thing that's always on in this room is basically this light power smart plug, because I'm going to replace the light smart plug with basically a Philips Hue light bulb, probably. I don't know, but it's just there. It's brighting this actual room up perfectly fine. And then the only other thing that's on is that smart plug over there, the echo, so I can basically have control, and then these 3 switches over here that are always on. The rest of it gets pretty much turned off when I'm done using it. And so far this is a test of how it's working. Running at 24 minutes. It's gonna go select port. It's not hot, and it's not like sweaty hot. It's warm, but that's just because of how it is. I'm gonna do another test recording, and then after I move it into its position, which is gonna be probably over there. Probably, I'm not for sure. I gotta get a keyboard out of the back room to hook it to here because I don't actually have a spare keyboard in this room right now to actually hook it up to here, so I can basically see if I can have it auto boot. Let's see what else was there I was going to talk about. Um these buttons are configurable to how I would actually use them. I have one for actually Plex, one for random buttons, and then also I have UPSs are coming in like the mail, because they're gonna be here about a week. They're gonna go down here. The only thing I'm probably gonna actually plug in to the UPS that isn't on the battery backup, and hope it doesn't basically strip off the UPS because of plugging into a single port PPDUs, or find a plug into into a UPS, because that's what PPDUs are meant for. But you can't plug a surge protector into a PPDU because that's a bad idea. So I'm also gonna plug the cable that's down here as the power cable into the non-bad battery part of the UPS, so I can have that accessible. I have the remote for it. It's just a fan, so to keep it cool in here during the summer when basically the air isn't on, and also since these curtains are pretty much always closed, it gets little stuffy in here. So, and especially during the summer, I'm probably just gonna have to turn this actual fan on. So yeah. Um I'm just gonna finish arranging this stuff once I get finished with actually stuff, and see how it looks out. Because right now we're at 27 minutes long. This is gonna take a little bit of time to actually export. And yeah. Okay. Um um Hope you liked the actual test. Um like, just going back to here for a second. Oh, 1 second. Okay, come back to here. So basically, this is just stuff you actually see now. This cable gonna be moved somewhere else. You're not gonna see any of this. You might actually see more of this table over here. So basically, this laptop you see right here is going to be moved over in the edge laptop stand. It's gonna be moved over there in the corner, and then I'm gonna move the books that are over here that you can't see. Let me see if I can show you those. Cause I have books that are right here and some on the table over there. I'm gonna move those on another shelf, and yeah. But this is going to be in the corner. I'm gonna run an HDMI cable from over here, which is on the other side of here, around here to the capture card HDMI, because it's 12 foot. This isn't 12 feet though, so I'm just gonna make sure by testing it, just to make sure. If it works out, then I'm gonna just run. I'm just gonna keep the HDMI. I'm just gonna keep the HDMI plugged in if it works out. I haven't tested the capture card yet. It just has to be able to be seen. That's it. Um, okay. Thanks for watching. And all these cables are gonna be fixed somehow. This charger cable is gonna probably go in my backpack, and so just make sure the laptop isn't gonna be actually living here all the time. So it's gonna go in my actual backpack, and so I'm gonna have it set up in the back room, because this came from in the back room where I had the computer at, and so since I'm using it here because it does the job perfectly fine, as I can see, it doesn't get really warm, it doesn't get really loud, and it's also um quiet, quieter. And also, since it's not on battery, I don't have to worry about degrading the actual bad battery a lot. And so when I need to work on the computer in the back room, I can either get another one of these, or I can just get this in the back room with my, or I can just plug this in the back room onto the docking station that's back there. I had the docking station in here for this computer, but I thought I was gonna get a Mac M1 Mac, and just and plug everything into like there. And but the problem is with the M1 Mac, it just didn't work out for actually my needs. So I ended up unplugging the docking station and taking it back actually there. And so, and I plugged everything into here, and everything works on for a single cable through here. I just would prefer to, have a machine I can just um undock without thinking about getting a MacBook. And the problem with actually a MacBook is that that the M1s that you can't hook up two displays at once. So a MacBook would not have worked here either, because and the reason of that the two displays the actual two displays would basically would not work. This one display would work, and then I would have to have a way of plugging in this one. If I plugged into like a Thunderbolt port, it just would not work. It was a limitation to the first generation M1 hardware. So the M1 Max, which is basically the second generation M1 MacBook, that one can just display two extra displays, because it has a HDMI port on one side, and also um SD card slots, and on the other side is two Thunderbolts. So basically, you can basically charge. And you can also just display, so you can actually have a docking station on one side hooked. You can have the docking station hooked to the Thunderbolt, and have a display on there, and having an HDMI hooked to there. But or you can use a display link on like Thunderbolt. I mean the display link, which will do two monitors on display link, and one through like this through the actual Thunderbolt bus. So yeah, instead of that, I would have wanted the M1 Mac Mini, but that one just didn't work out. Like, also there's other hardware compatibility issues. I mean, software compatibility issues that haven't been worked out yet for most software I use. So it just would not work for me at the moment. If they make a one where like OBS isn't basically laggy and stuff, then I might go for like a new Mac, or a new MacBook. But I just need something that I can have that's quiet. Run all the software I need, which is mainly OBS, because like software I usually run is OBS. Foobar works on there. VLC works on there. On M1s, but the only software that doesn't work on M1 is um MIDI Mixer, which is a software I use for controlling volume in Windows. They don't have an actual Mac equivalent of the software. If you want to do that with actually MIDI on actual Mac OS, you have to basically program each key to like do the first specific MIDI note, and then you have to basically install the MIDI editing software of the device. So for like some device that has like 8 faders, 8 knobs, like 3 buttons per actually fader, like let's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 So 50. And something just disconnect that I actually don't know what disconnect. Probably capture card. So I'm just gonna do this kind of live. I don't know actually. Let's see. I'm just gonna see. Let's see. What's that thing called? So I'm just doing this live. You're just not seeing anything. I'm just gonna see what just disconnected, because something just disconnected and I don't actually know what it was. So you're just seeing a black screen right now. Let's see. So now you're just seeing a black screen right now. Now, so let's see this, the capture card screen. So capture, use custom audio devices. So with the Roland capture card, I'm gonna say specifically, if you decide to get a Roland capture card specifically based on what I was talking about, because it's actually it's a little bit better than Elgato, but the only issue I have with that Roland capture card is that in order to get audio from there, you have to select audio devices, use custom audio device, and so select the audio in, which installs itself when basically getting getting the Roland, when basically installing the Roland draw driver stuff. So also depending on your actual setup, the main resolution of the Roland capture card is 1080p, but you can run it lower. And so 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 yeah, there you go. So now you just so let's see. Transform. Okay, yeah, I don't think that's an issue. I think I messed up somewhere. Okay, 1000. Yeah, that was an issue. I actually put it bigger. Yeah, so yeah, that was my fault. I actually accidentally put it to a higher resolution. So right now you should be seeing a blue screen. Now you're seeing that capture card. So now I'm just gonna see if it works. I gotta get my phone / iPad, and I'm gonna test it. If it works, you're gonna see this actual video. And so I'm just gonna show you another live one. So basically, um, okay, sorry about this. Oopsies. Whatever, I probably don't. I'm just gonna do something else. So, I hope you liked the video. I'm just gonna stop recording now. It's been 30 minutes and it hasn't basically crashed yet. No blue screens. That's all. I was just making sure. I never tested it with like OBS. I just tested it with like other software. So, and it works. So, thanks for watching. Bye.